Have you ever been swept away by an intense emotion, a wave of anger, a surge of anxiety, only to regret your words or actions moments later? It's that feeling where your rational mind screams one thing, but your emotions drag you in a completely different direction. Why does it feel so impossible to truly master these powerful inner states? Is emotional control merely about suppressing what you feel? Or is there a profound art to it? A hidden mechanism that allows some people to remain unshaken, no matter the external storm? What if an ancient Roman philosopher, living centuries ago, already cracked the code to complete emotional mastery, a secret that liberates you from the whims of your own mind?
That feeling isn't just a minor problem. It's a deep inner struggle. It's when you know exactly what you should do, or what you should say, but your feelings take over your entire self. This internal civil war leaves us exhausted and often ashamed. We might even wish we could just turn off these strong reactions. We might think this struggle is only ours, a personal weakness, but it's a challenge all humans face. It's the core question of being human. How do we handle the powerful currents of our emotions without being overwhelmed by them?
Today, we are not just going to talk about holding back feelings. We are going to start a deep journey into how to truly master our emotions. And our guide for this journey is Seneca, one of the smartest thinkers of ancient Rome. He was a Stoic philosopher whose ideas about emotional control are surprisingly helpful even today. Seneca wasn't just writing simple tips for life. He was looking into the basic truths of human thought and how messy our inner world often is. He understood that our emotional reactions are not always about what happens outside us. Instead, they are about how we think about and respond to what happens. This idea applies to every single one of us, every day. It's about whether we are truly free or if we are always pulled around by the invisible strings of anger, fear, or desire. Stay with me, because what Seneca offers isn't a quick fix. It's a completely new way to understand and deal with your emotions. It's like a map for building a strong inner peace, a way to go from being controlled by your feelings to wisely guiding them. By the end of this video, you will see that real emotional control is not about avoiding feelings. It's about growing a deep inner wisdom that lets you choose how to react, no matter what happens. This can lead to a life of more peace, more clear thinking, and true freedom. To truly understand Seneca's approach, we first need to clear up a big misunderstanding. When we talk about emotional control, most people think it means suppressing emotions. You might imagine someone trying to bite their tongue, hold back tears, or plaster on a fake smile, pretending everything is fine when it's clearly not. You might have even been told to just calm down when you were upset, which often just makes you feel worse, doesn't it? This common idea of control suggests that emotions are a weakness, something to be squashed or ignored. But this is absolutely not what Seneca or the Stoics meant by emotional mastery. In fact, Seneca would argue that trying to suppress emotions in this way is actually counterproductive. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes immense effort, and eventually it will explode back to the surface, often with more force.
Seneca understood that emotions are a natural part of being human. He wasn't suggesting we become emotionless robots. What he was suggesting is that the problem isn't the feeling itself, but how we interact with that feeling, how we respond to it. He believed that many of our most destructive emotions, like uncontrolled anger, crippling fear, or overwhelming sadness, don't come from the events themselves, they come from our judgments about those events. This is a subtle but powerful difference. Imagine you're stuck in heavy traffic. Your initial feeling might be annoyance. If you then judge that annoyance as an intolerable waste of time, a personal attack on your schedule, or a sign of utter incompetence from the city planners, that annoyance quickly spirals into rage or intense frustration. The traffic itself didn't make you furious, your interpretation of the traffic did. This is the first crucial step in Seneca's teaching, recognizing that our emotional turmoil often originates within us, not outside us.
It's not about stopping yourself from feeling. It's about understanding why you feel what you feel, and then changing that underlying reason. This brings us to a core Stoic idea. It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. Think about that for a moment. We often feel like victims of circumstances. We say, that person made me angry, or this situation made me anxious, or losing that opportunity made me sad. But Seneca would gently challenge this. He would say that the person or the situation or the loss didn't make you anything. They presented a stimulus, an impression, and then you, through your judgments and beliefs, responded with anger, anxiety, or sadness. This is the concept of assent. When an impression comes to our mind, say someone cuts you off in traffic, there's a split second where you have a choice. You can assent to the impression that this is an outrageous, disrespectful act that justifies your rage. Or you can pause. This pause, this moment of non-assent, is where true emotional control begins. It's the difference between seeing a sudden flash of light and immediately jumping to the conclusion that it's a fire, versus observing the flash and then rationally checking if there's smoke or heat. Most of us, most of the time, are on emotional autopilot. We receive an impression, we immediately judge it, and then we react, often without conscious thought. We become slaves to these automatic judgments. For example, if you receive an email that seems critical, your first automatic thought might be, they think I'm incompetent, and immediately a wave of defensiveness or shame washes over you. But what if you paused? What if you considered, perhaps they just phrased it poorly? Or maybe they're under pressure too? Or could there be another way to interpret this? This pause, this deliberate withholding of assent to the initial, often negative judgment, is where we regain our power. It's where we interrupt the chain reaction that turns a neutral event into emotional chaos. It's a moment of liberation, allowing us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively.
Our emotions are often fueled by our preconceived notions and expectations. We carry around an inner narrative of how things should be, how people should behave, and what we deserve. When reality doesn't match this narrative, we feel upset. How many times have you imagined the worst-case scenario before a big presentation, or worried incessantly about a future event that hasn't even happened yet? This mental habit, this constant projection of our fears and desires onto the future, is a massive source of emotional suffering. Seneca observed this deeply. He understood that our minds have a powerful tendency to anticipate, to imagine, and often to catastrophize. We build elaborate mental structures of what might go wrong, and then we suffer the pain of those imagined problems as if they were already real. To counteract this, Seneca introduced a powerful practice called premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of evils. Now, this might sound counterintuitive. Why would you want to think about bad things happening? Isn't that just inviting negativity? But the Stoic approach is very different from simply worrying. Worry is passive. It's being swept away by fear. Premeditation of evils, on the other hand, is active and deliberate. It's about mentally preparing for potential setbacks, challenges, and losses before they occur. It's about calmly considering that your flight might be delayed, your presentation might not go perfectly, your relationship might face difficulties, or even that you might lose a loved one. By doing this, you're not dwelling on negativity. You're robbing negative events of their power to shock and overwhelm you. Imagine you're preparing for a difficult conversation with a colleague. Instead of just hoping for the best and being blindsided if it goes poorly, you mentally run through various scenarios. What if they get angry? What if they dismiss my points? What if I don't get the outcome I want? By considering these possibilities, you desensitize yourself to their potential impact. When one of these scenarios does happen, it no longer feels like a sudden, destabilizing blow. You've already considered it, processed it, and even thought about how you might respond.
This practice doesn't make you pessimistic, it makes you resilient. It transforms you from someone who is constantly knocked off balance by life's inevitable challenges into someone who stands firm, ready for whatever comes. It's about building a mental fortress, not to keep feelings out, but to ensure that when strong emotions arise, they don't shatter your inner peace. A fundamental part of Seneca's wisdom lies in distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. This distinction is perhaps the most liberating idea in Stoicism. We often spend an enormous amount of mental and emotional energy trying to control things that are simply beyond our reach. We worry about the weather, the opinions of others, economic trends, past events, or even the future actions of people we care about. When these external things don't go our way, we feel frustrated, angry, or anxious. Seneca would tell us that this is a wrong use of our mental energy.
We are trying to steer a ship in a storm without a rudder, focusing on the waves rather than our own steering. Instead, he urged us to focus solely on what is within our power: our thoughts, our judgments, our attitudes, and our actions. Everything else, our health, our wealth, our reputation, what others say or do, even our physical safety, he called indifferent things. This doesn't mean they are unimportant or that we don't prefer good health over bad or wealth over poverty. It means that they are indifferent to our true well-being. They can be used for good or ill, but they do not define our character or our happiness. Our happiness and peace come from how we respond to these things, not from whether we have them or lose them.
Think about a time you lost a job, faced an illness, or dealt with a public setback. Your immediate reaction might have been devastation, but Seneca would encourage you to consider what part of that situation was truly yours to control. You couldn't control the company's decision, the disease's progression, or what others thought of you. What you could control was how you reacted, whether you succumbed to despair, whether you looked for new opportunities, whether you maintained your dignity, whether you sought treatment, or whether you learned from the experience. We chase so many things we think will make us happy or secure: more money, a higher position, constant approval. But these are all external. They can be taken away in an instant. True freedom, Seneca argues, comes from realizing that our inner peace is not dependent on these fragile externals. It resides in our virtue, our wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, and in our unwavering commitment to acting in accordance with what is good, regardless of external outcomes. This shift in perspective is incredibly powerful because it directs our energy towards the only place where it can truly make a difference: our inner world. Now that we've explored the underlying philosophy, let's talk about the practical tools Seneca offers to develop this profound emotional intelligence. This isn't about becoming a robot, it's about becoming a master craftsman of your inner world.
The first tool is the pause, or the delay. When a strong emotion hits you, anger, fear, irritation, your immediate reaction will be to act on it. But Seneca encourages a moment of delay. He said the greatest remedy for anger is delay. This means physically or mentally taking a breath. Don't immediately respond to that aggravating email or lash out in a moment of frustration. Create a gap, even if it's just a few seconds, between the event and your reaction. During this pause, you can ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? For example, if someone says something rude to you, instead of snapping back, take a deep breath, count to 3. This small delay gives your rational mind a chance to catch up and overrides your impulsive emotional brain. It's like creating a mental speed bump before you crash. The second tool is challenging your thoughts. As we discussed, emotions often stem from our judgments, so Seneca would have us question those judgments. When you feel a surge of anger, ask yourself, is my interpretation of this situation absolutely true? Is there another way to see this? If someone lets you down, your immediate thought might be, they did this deliberately to hurt me. But is that the only possibility? Perhaps they were forgetful, or distracted, or facing their own challenges. This is not about letting people off the hook, but about giving yourself options beyond immediate distress. It's about looking for alternative explanations and seeking evidence that either supports or refutes your initial emotionally charged interpretation. It allows you to break free from the single, often negative narrative your mind immediately constructs.
The third tool is adopting an observer mindset. Imagine your emotions as waves in the ocean. You can either be swept away by them, or you can stand on the shore and watch them come and go. Seneca encourages us to observe our emotions without becoming completely identified with them. When you feel anger, instead of saying, "I am angry," try saying, "I am observing a feeling of anger within me." This subtle linguistic shift creates a crucial distance. It reminds you that you are not your emotions. You are the awareness that experiences them. This detachment allows you to analyze the emotion more calmly, to understand its triggers, and to choose how to respond rather than being controlled by it. It's like stepping back from a painting to see the whole picture rather than being pressed up against one brushstroke. The fourth tool is premeditatio malorum, the anticipation of adversity. We touched on this earlier, but it's so powerful it bears repeating as a practical exercise. Regularly take time to mentally prepare for things going wrong. This isn't about dwelling in negativity, but about building resilience. Before an important meeting, imagine it doesn't go well. Before a journey, consider potential delays or inconveniences. Before a difficult conversation, imagine the other person reacting negatively. By doing this, you're not inviting bad luck, you're inoculating yourself against emotional shock. When the actual event occurs, if it's less severe than your imagined scenario, you'll feel relief. If it matches, you'll be mentally prepared and able to respond calmly rather than falling into panic or despair. This practice strengthens your inner resolve against the unpredictable nature of life.
And finally, the fifth tool is focus on virtue and our core values. For Seneca, the ultimate goal of emotional control isn't just peace of mind, it's living a good life, a virtuous life. When emotions threaten to overwhelm you, bring your focus back to what truly matters, acting with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. In any situation, no matter how challenging, you can always choose to respond with integrity and reason. If you are treated unfairly, you can choose to respond with fairness, or at least without sinking to their level. If you are afraid, you can choose to act with courage, even if it's just the courage to face your fear. When your actions are guided by these core values rather than by impulsive emotional reactions, you build a life of deep inner satisfaction and peace, regardless of what the external world throws at you. This gives you an unshakable compass in any storm. Living a life guided by Seneca's Stoic secrets is not about becoming unfeeling or cold. It's about becoming incredibly attuned to your inner landscape so that you can navigate it with wisdom and freedom. It's a continuous practice, not a destination you arrive at overnight. There will be days when emotions still feel overwhelming, when you slip and react impulsively. That's part of being human. The goal isn't perfection, but progress.
By consistently applying these tools, challenging your thoughts, adopting an observer mindset, anticipating adversity, and focusing on your core virtues, you begin to rewire your automatic emotional responses. You'll find yourself less easily swayed by external events, less prone to intense anger or crippling anxiety. You'll gain a remarkable clarity of mind, allowing you to think more logically and make better decisions, even under pressure. This leads to more effective action in the world and more harmonious relationships, because you're responding with thought, not just raw feeling. The true payoff is a deep, unshakable inner peace. It's the realization that your happiness and your tranquility do not depend on the unpredictable whims of the world, but on your own internal governance. It's the profound understanding that while you cannot control external events, you have absolute control over your perception of them and your response to them. This isn't a passive form of calm. It's an active, powerful freedom. The freedom to choose your internal state, no matter what happens around you. It's the journey from being controlled by your feelings to wisely guiding them, from being a slave to your impulses to becoming the true master of your own mind. And that, in Seneca's view, is the ultimate art of living.
Throughout this journey, we've gone far beyond the common idea of emotional control as just holding back your feelings. Remember that feeling we talked about at the very beginning, where your rational mind screams one thing but your emotions drag you in a completely different direction? That inner civil war that leaves you exhausted and ashamed. Seneca's wisdom shows us it's not a personal weakness, but a universal human struggle that can be mastered. We learned that true emotional mastery isn't about ignoring what you feel, but about deeply understanding why you feel it. His profound insight was that our emotional turmoil often comes from our own judgments about events, not the events themselves. That split second of choice, the assent, where you can choose not to agree with a negative automatic thought, is your first key to freedom. We explored how anticipating challenges through premeditatio malorum can build incredible resilience, and how focusing solely on what's within your control liberates vast amounts of wasted emotional energy. And we got practical, diving into tools like the pause, challenging your thoughts, adopting an observer mindset, anticipating adversity, and focusing on virtue. These aren't just ancient ideas, they are powerful, timeless techniques for anyone seeking a calmer, clearer, and truly free life.
So, if you've ever felt like your emotions were running the show, dragging you against your will, know this: you are absolutely not alone in that struggle. It's a battle every human faces, and it's why the wisdom of someone like Seneca is still so incredibly helpful today. You asked, is emotional control merely about suppressing what you feel, or is there a profound art to it? Hopefully by now you see the answer clearly. It's not impossible. It is indeed a profound art, a deep skill to cultivate. It's not about turning off your feelings, but about becoming the wise guide of your own inner world. This journey toward true emotional mastery isn't a destination you reach overnight. It's a continuous practice, like learning any art form. There will be days when old habits resurface, when emotions feel overwhelming, and when you might slip back into old patterns. That's perfectly okay. That's part of being human, and it's part of the learning process. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. It's about becoming a little bit better each day, a little bit more aware, a little bit more in control of your response. You have within you the power to transform how you experience life. You have the capacity to choose peace over panic, clarity over confusion, and wisdom over whim. This ability isn't given to a select few. It's within everyone who chooses to cultivate it, just as Seneca taught.
Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that internal civil war between your rational mind and your emotions? Which of Seneca's ideas resonated most with you, or which tool do you feel you need the most right now? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights not only help me, but they also help build a community of thoughtful individuals who are all on this path of self-mastery and wisdom. Let's start a conversation and learn from each other. And if this deep dive into ancient wisdom and practical philosophy resonated with you, if you want to explore more insights from history's greatest minds and learn how to apply their timeless lessons to navigate the complexities of modern life, then make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Don't miss out on future videos where we continue to unlock the secrets to a more intentional, meaningful, and deeply peaceful existence. We're just getting started on this incredible journey of self-discovery and growth, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Join our community, hit the like button if you found this video valuable, and let's keep exploring these profound questions together. Your journey to mastering your inner world begins now, and we'll be here to guide you every step of the way. Thank you for watching, and remember, true freedom begins within.